going to happen if we're not. People will wait, wonder.
Yeah, I have little interesting anecdotes to tell you about behind the scenes stuff.
Good. I'll ask
and
you
where
all.
we filmed that. Because people think, oh, maybe they were in Nutbush, Tennessee, because that's where she's from. Nope.
Oh, we're live. Hey, my name is Caswell Cook, and we're here with RaeVen Kelly, and we're broadcasting on the Misquamicut Drive-In Facebook page, the Misquamicut Facebook page, and YouTube page, and all kinds of pages, all around, probably even my page. I don't know. But wherever you're watching from, you should type into the comments where you're watching from, and Ben will put it up on the screen. We like to know where you're from and where you're. And do you come to Misquamicut Beach? And when's the last time you were here? Anyway, it's Labor Day weekend. And we're down here at the Misquamicut Drive-In. The screen is behind us, ever so large. Although not as large as some drive-in screens. That's all right. You know, we'd take kids. Hi.
Say hi.
Hi. Hi.
This is my son, one of my sons. I just gave birth literally, I think 12 days ago or so.
And I said to her, I'm like, do you really want to do this? I mean, it's like we could do this next year. And she's like, no, I'll be ready.
This is
My name is Weston Warren, and I'm 4.
Ben, did the ratings just go up? So, but the reason why we're here tonight is because one of the movies that we're showing tonight, well, the movie we're showing tonight is called What's Love Got to Do with It? And of course, many of you remember it from the 1990s, 1990 what? Three.
Yeah, 1993.
And you were how old?
And I was actually 7 when we filmed and 8 when the movie came out. It came out actually on my birthday weekend in June of 93. So.
But let's go back and first of all tell the people. They're thinking, wait a minute, you couldn't have played Tina Turner in 1993. You're too young. But you
so
did.
sweet.
But
Yes, I
but you
did.
played Tina Turner as a child.
Yes, I did. Shared the role with the wonderful Angela Bassett, who actually my second son, Stonington Dinwiddie, who was just born a few days ago, he shares the same birthday with Angela Bassett now. They're both August the 16th. But yes, Angela Bassett and myself share the title role, and she was nominated for an Academy Award that year for her portrayal of Tina Turner, too.
And Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes, Lawrence Fishburne, Vanessa Bell Calloway, Chi McBride. I mean, just a stellar all-star cast. A beautiful film directed by the wonderful Brian Gibson. May he rest in peace. Wonderful director.
Now, so tell us, did your parents encourage you to get into acting? Were you just like a 4-year-old like your son who just wanted to grab the microphone? Like, how did you get a role in a major motion picture when you were 8 years old?
Yes, actually, my parents are both very much very encouraging. My mom, actually, my dad is totally, the science guy. He's civil engineer, all that jazz, Carnegie Mellon. But my mom has a background in theater. So she did, South Carolina State University, Juilliard. She went to Juilliard and University of Alabama, Birmingham for theater. And so I grew up as a theater baby, going around with my mom doing different plays. We did Harriet Tubman when I was only 3 years old, and I played young Harriet. So I grew up around.
What else would you do at 3? It's got to be the young Harriet.
Yes, young Harriet Tubman. And my first television show was I'll Fly Away on NBC when I was 3 years old as well. So I had already done several commercials. I actually was the first black baby that was the Huggies baby when I was little in the 80s there. So, I mean, a lot of those...
So what diapers are you using now?
Huggies, of course. I'm very loyal.
Still representing.
Still loyal. Huggies for life. That's right.
Now, see, back then what you should have done is made a deal, or your parents should have made a deal that you get free diapers for your kids down the road. See, that would have been...
See, that would have been very, very smart. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, I just grew up doing it over the years and doing different television shows. Was the first black child actress to be on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and to star on Roseanne as well. So just growing up over the years doing that, my parents were very encouraging. My mother was my manager when I was very young and my acting coach. And so she fostered that within me. And I really really had never sang before. I tried out for What's Love Got to Do with It. Never sang before in my life. People don't believe that, but I really had, not even in a children's choir. And so my mom coached me and worked with me. They actually went to like 5 different countries looking for the young Tina Turner. And Tina at the time lived in Germany, and they went all around to different parts of Germany, Heidelberg, Munich, different places, looking for a little girl that, you know, could emulate her. And also, I think Los Angeles, New York, it was like a big cattle call. And they narrowed it down to, I think, like 4 or 5 of us, and then...
You.
Yeah.
So, what involvement did Tina Turner have in the movie itself?
She was very hands-on. She was a producer of the soundtrack. She was one of the producers of the film itself, and she is so regal and refined. A lot of people don't realize that because they think of her as like this saucy, sexy mama, you know, with the short dresses, and she's known for her...
Or from the Mad Max.
Right, her $1 million legs, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I mean, she is quite a statuesque woman, still is to this day, now all in her 80s, I'm sure. But she is very regal and refined, and I met her very, you know, ladylike and just very effeminate and sweet and demure, actually. And it's so funny because I met her backstage before she went on stage, and she's like, I hear you're playing me as a little girl as Anna Mae Bullock. And I said, yes. And she said, come here, RaeVen. And she gave me a big hug, and she talked to me, and she was very quiet and soft-spoken and talked like this. And she says, now, you see those over there? And I said, yes. And she says, I said, those are high heels. She says, oh, yes, those are my show shoes. When I put those on, that's when I become Tina. And I said, oh, okay. And she says, now you're going to see me shake a tail feather. And she was like, and I was like, okay. And she like literally transformed before my eyes. She put on her heels, and her voice got louder, and her shoulders went back, and she was Tina Turner. She was on. And I met her backup dancers backstage. It was my first concert, you know, and we were doing press for the movie at the time. And I was 8 years old, and I was just like, wow, just in awe of her and her beauty and her elegance.
And now the song that was the hit from the movie, that I don't really want to fight time for, what is it? There was like a hit.
I don't care who's wrong or right. I don't really want to fight no more. Yes.
Too
much talking, baby.
Let's sleep on it. But that was a song for the movie, right?
Yes.
That wasn't a song from before.
No.
So she like
that was specifically for the movie.
And that became a huge hit. So she actually, that kind of, not that her career had, I mean, she was big in the, obviously big in the 60s,
right.
big in the
so that gave another,
but it gave another like,
revamp on everything. Oh, absolutely.
I remember when she did the soundtrack for GoldenEye, the Bond film.
Oh, yes.
And she's like, I wasn't planning on going out, but when you're hot, you got to go.
That's right. That's how she is. You know, she strikes while the iron is hot, and she's such a motivational woman, but even more so than anything, I would have to say, is her humble spirit. And she's so relatable and loving and kind. It's been a few years since I've seen her, but the last time I saw her, it was just like, you know, the first time when I met her when I was little doing press for the movie. Just a kind woman, very sweet. And this film is very passionate and really dear to my heart because, you know, we have so many things that we struggle with in society as females, especially with domestic violence for some females, unfortunately. And this film tackles that. You know, everything she went through with Ike, you know?
It's kind of sad to watch.
Oh, yes.
It's not easy to watch.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, was it really like that? And they'll even ask, I've seen people come up to, you know, Angela Bassett and ask her point blank, like, was it really as bad as it was, that fight scene in the car in the white limo? And did he really, like, you know, slap her and beat her up in a restaurant for not eating a piece of cake? And she's like, yes, like, that those things really did happen, you know? And, you know, we live in a day and age.
Doing movies like that, though, like, because, you know, not the average person, but a person might be like, well, why didn't she just leave? She was Tina Turner. And, you know, that movie really helps you explain that even though she was big and famous, she kind of felt beholden to him because he discovered her, whatever.
Right.
But
he felt like he owned her.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it was so important that when they had the divorce and the lawsuit was done, she said, he doesn't get my name. I'm keeping my name. I'm still Tina Turner, because she had earned it, you know?
Right. And then she became more famous than
everybody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Although she always did until she retired. Proud Mary. That was
Yes.
always the one.
But he actually showed up at set.
Oh, really?
The real Ike, yes. So I'll share these stories tonight with you. But yes, if you
Wow.
come down and come see the movie here at the Misquamicut Drive-In, we're here. And What's Love Got to Do with It? I have some interesting stories to tell you about behind the scenes of What's Love Got to Do with It. And also have another projects coming out.
Like what?
That we're also going to be doing. We're going to be doing some Hallmark and Lifetime holiday Christmas movies here, locally.
We like that. We like it
Yes.
when things are filmed around here.
That's right, bringing some jobs to Rhode Island and Connecticut. Yay, yay. So we're going to be filming in Pawcatuck and Westerly and Misquamicut, so we look forward for that.
One more thing on the movie. So if someone is watching it, whether they're here or whether they're at home, and they're like, oh, you know what, I need to get this on Netflix now. Where do they find you throughout the movie? Like where are the scenes and what like?
Well, so my part is right at the beginning. So it's the first few scenes because I play her as a little girl. And then the rest of the movie is all Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne. And then at the final end, you see the real Tina comes up. But yeah, if you Google me, you can see all my projects and movies and stuff. RaeVen Kelly or RaeVen Kelly Dinwiddie. You can look me up online. All my fans from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Hannah Montana, ER, Living Single, all that jazz. So
When
yeah.
you were a kid though, like so when you did a role like the movie we're seeing tonight,
Yes.
did you get that like when you met Tina Turner, did you get how big it was, or maybe later on you realized how?
I definitely understood what a big deal it was when I went to the concert and I saw this packed stadium in Atlanta and everyone chanting her name, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a big deal to little old me, who was just, literally in, second grade, at the time. It's funny because I was on Regis and Kathy Lee. That's how long ago it was.
Now there's no more
Yes.
Regis or Kathy Lee.
Right, it's
and there's no
all-
more Kelly.
Yeah, it's Kelly and Ryan now.
Oh, Kelly and
yeah,
Ryan.
Ryan Seacrest and Kelly Ripa do the show now.
It shows how I keep
But
up.
but yeah, I was on it when it was live with Regis and Kathy Lee, and one of the things when I was interviewed that day, I was being interviewed on their show, and so was Harry Belafonte. He was coming on after me, and they were like, "Oh yeah, and Harry Belafonte's coming on after you," and I'm like, "Oh." And they're like, who's that? And I'm like, I don't know, because I was, I'm like 7.5. I'm a little kid. I didn't even
didn't
have
know
a frame
music
of
from
reference.
the 50s. Yeah.
Yeah. And so not understanding this man is a legend, So my mom did a whole musical education with me during, the press for it and everything, and just looking up all the different singers of the time, even, Gladys Knight and, Patti LaBelle. And then I did another movie, Lillian Winter. It's a Christmas holiday movie that I'm actually throughout that film, and I played Natalie Cole's daughter in that movie. And Marla Gibbs plays my grandmother, who is the maid Florence from the Jeffersons. And so I did all this musical research on Nat King Cole and Natalie Cole, and I learned all the songs from her Unforgettable album. And one day Natalie Cole is coming by my trailer, and she hears me singing, and she said, "I heard you can sing my part just like me." And I said, "Oh no, I can't." She says, "Yes, you can." And she made me sing with her on set. She said, "You sing my part and I'll sing my dad's part." And we serenaded the cast and crew and sang Unforgettable. And so that was unforgettable, So I've had a rich musical education over the years, and I've had the pleasure of singing at the Grand Ole Opry and at the Hollywood Bowl. And my godmother and my uncle, H.B. Barnum, my godmother, Billy Barnum, they have had recording studios throughout my life growing up, and I would visit them, and I grew up singing in their choir, Life Choir, back in Los Angeles. And so they, my Uncle H, he was the musical director for over 35 years for Aretha Franklin, and he was the music arranger for the Beatles and the Bee Gees, and my godmother sang backup for the Beach Boys and Pink Floyd, so I was able to get a rich musical education from them as well, and my mom made sure of that. So I was really blessed to have that background. So yes, now I'm all schooled, but I wasn't at the time of the movie.
That was the answer to the question. The Natalie Cole thing. So I went to in 2000. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, and I was like covering it, with
Yes.
the little TV thing, kind of like I'm doing now. And Natalie Cole was there to get an award for her dad, and I remember, so she was like probably as far away as that picnic table right there, and her eyes.
Aren't they beautiful?
I couldn't believe
You
it.
can get lost in her eyes.
I was mesmerized. Like, you don't see that very often.
Yes.
And I just remember going, like, in person, like, how beautiful
Yes.
she was.
Her eyes actually have a little bit of gray to them in her eyes. Yeah.
It was just so,
They're
like,
really
I don't know
pretty.
why. Here I am 22 years later, and I remember her eyes, and I was just like,
Yes.
Whoa.
She has stunning eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
Well, there you go, see?
Indeed. Yes. And I miss her so dearly. And I built a beautiful relationship with her after filming Lillian Winter with her and Sally Richardson and Marla Gibbs, and still keep in contact with G-Ma, Marla Gibbs, still call her G-Ma, my other grandma. But Miss Natalie has passed on, and her son, actually, we were godbrother and godsister, very close. Robbie Yancey, her son, and Robert, he was a talented musician. He traveled with his mom and was a part of her band and everything. But he, unfortunately, not even, I think, like a year and a half after she passed, he passed away too. So, yeah. But I love them and always miss them in heaven. Always, yeah.
So we're talking to RaeVen Kelly, who's here tonight. So this is kind of the last of the summer, as far as having some, like, we've been really fortunate to have actors and actresses from different movies that we play at the actual drive-in. So it's kind of cool that not only do you come see a cool movie at the drive-in, but you can actually talk to someone who was in the movie. So we've been doing this all summer, and we will continue again next year. Just a couple things. We've got Hey 19, Steely Dan tribute coming up next weekend. We will continue our drive-in movies during September on Friday and Saturday nights only. So our whole Wednesday through Sunday thing, it's over after tomorrow. But tonight's What's Love Got to Do with It, and tomorrow night is Goonies. Yeah, Goonies.
Oh, Goonies.
Goonies. Someday we'll
That's
get
a
somebody
good
from
one.
the Goonie. We'll get Chunk sometime. Where can you find the movies? Online?
No, I mean what website? Can they
Oh, the website. Yeah, it's MBA, Misquamicut Business, MBADrivein.com. Or the easiest way to get to anything we do is Misquamicut.org. And after the movie tonight, I'll be DJing at the Windjammer. You can go over there too. Anyway, well, Misquamicut Beach stays open even after Labor Day. We have Fall Fest coming up in a couple of weeks.
Fall Fest.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have Guy Fawkes Bonfire Night, October 1st. We have Atlantis Rising, which is a big sandcastle sculpting, brand new thing at the State Beach. So we're here through, the next couple of months. So you can come, and parking is usually free after Labor Day. So that's the deal. Thanks for watching tonight.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. You don't have to have any more labor.
That's a good one. Very good. Very good mom joke.
Hey everybody, it's Avery Movie with some do's and don'ts when you come visit the Misquamicut Drive-In Movie Theater. Do buy your tickets online. Don't bring cash. Do pull up to the stop sign for assistance. Don't park yourself. Do throw your trash in the waste receptacles. Don't be a litter bug. Do turn your lights off. Don't be inconsiderate. Do talk quietly during the movie. Don't yell! Do come to our concession stand to get some delicious goodies. Don't order delivery. Do buy our sick merch so you can look just like me. Don't commit identity theft. It's a serious crime. And remember, do have fun when you come to visit the Misquamicut Drive-In Movie Theater.